I'm Master Sergeant 3, your narrator for this afternoon's ceremony. Welcome to Fort Carson, Colorado, and the retirement ceremony honoring the career achievements of Technical Sergeant Chad Sischo. We extend a warm welcome to Sergeant Sischo's family, his wife Dee Dee, his sons Bradley and Brian are not with us today. Also coming in from Frewsburg, New York, his mother Penny Ostrander, and from Steenburg, New York, his father George Sischo, and his brother Matt from Tampa, Florida. We would also like to welcome our distinguished visitors, our presiding officer, Colonel Nick Vite, our host, the commander of the 13th Air Support Operations Squadron, Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Moore, and to family and friends who have come to celebrate Sergeant Sischo's retirement. Welcome. The retirement ceremony is a time-honored military tradition where we pay respect and tribute to our Air Force members for their faithful and honorable service to our nation. This ceremony is significant in that it symbolizes the closing of a 20-year distinguished military career of Technical Sergeant Chad W. Sischo. We are pleased to have with us today as our presiding official, Colonel Nick Vite. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the posting of the colors, the playing of the national anthem, and our invocation.
Stand by. Tuck. Knee. Hoop. Hold. 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 Hoop. Help. Hope. Present. Hope. 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 Come. Let's turn. Hoop.
Captain Talley will now lead us in the invocation.
Heavenly Father, Father, thank you for this day you've given us and for what it means to the Sischo family. We thank you for their commitment and their service to this country, God, and for the sacrifices they've made over the past 20 years. Pray that you be with them as they start the next phase of their life, Lord, that you guide them and keep them safe. And again, we thank you for their blessing to the U.S. Air Force and just for their service to this country. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Captain Talley. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. I now introduce the host for today's ceremony, Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Moore.
First of all, thank you everybody for coming up to Fort Carson. Some of you had some significant travels from Florida and New York. We've got friends and neighbors from, I'm sure, all over the country that just shows you the dedication and the impact the Sischo family has had, not just to the Air Force, but to just about everybody they've been in contact with. In my time here for the last 3 years, I could conclude some certain things with Sergeant Sischo's career, but then when you look at his records, it totally affirms what I already knew. Two words really come out consistently through his record, which is a phenomenal service record of service and sacrifice. 38 deployments. I'll let that sink in. TOIs, things that places that most of us had never considered being out there and doing things. So the service and sacrifice there are just tremendous. Foundation and teamwork are the two words that really came out. I mean, when I was at Fort Hood before I even came here, I would consistently see this guy, this Chad Sischo guy, in awards and things like this, like, who was this guy? So when I came here, I asked Sergeant Boyer, which some of you know and some of you don't, but he's been a key team player here as well for quite a period of time. But really, he said, don't worry about vehicles, don't worry about that. Almost all 99% of what's going on in LG, because I got this stalwart guy back there, Sergeant Sischo, who's doing all that stuff for us, and he was absolutely right. I mean, phenomenal. If and TAC, you can testify to this too. When you go out there and you know your Humvees are good to go, you know your vehicles are ready to go, and you go back all the way back to his career when he first started out in Dover, and in 1991, I think, when he first started there, and they gave him a $6.5 million fleet of vehicles. I mean, he's 18 years old, just got out of high school. Pretty impressive responsibility right from the very beginning. Foundation, build that foundation, and you see that this building. Colonel Vite, thank you so much for being here as well. I'm sure you're going to say the same kind of words, but that's the bottom line. I mean, he was the reason why a lot of us are enjoying some of the fruits of his labor right here, because he was able to put down on paper what this building needed to be, where the vehicle shop needed to go, and not only that, but the impact to the TACP community for vehicles has been tremendous. Because he's been doing this now for 10 years in this squadron almost, but I guess close to 9 years. So phenomenal foundation, and for teamwork, anytime, be times in here we're having meetings, you can all testify to this, and there'll be 5 people here, and we need a volunteer or something to happen, and who's almost 99% of the time jumping in. There he is, Chad, stepping up again. So the bar, which I'm sure you're all thankful for, the pieces of the Humvee in the bar, all the things back there that have to do with the equipment and the vehicle bay, and the list goes on, and I won't, because I'm sure you don't want to hear from me. But I appreciate your sacrifice and family sacrifice too. We know that those 38 deployments came primarily because you were strong enough to keep that family going. So appreciate that. So I won't belabor this any longer, and let's get this going. So, from the Senate.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Moore. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the presentation of the Meritorious Service Medal. Attention to orders. The citation to accompany the award of the Meritorious Service Medal to Technical Sergeant Chad W. Sischo, 25 January 2006 to 31 October 2011. Technical Sergeant Chad W. Sischo distinguished himself in the performance of outstanding service to the United States as non-commissioned officer in charge, vehicle maintenance, 13th Air Support Operations Squadron, 3rd Air Support Operations Group, Fort Carson Army Installation, Colorado. During this period, Sergeant Sischo expertly oversaw maintenance and operations of a fleet consisting of 78 tactical vehicles valued at $6.6 million. He also conducted joint training for 387 personnel consisting of soldiers and battlefield airmen from multiple major commands on tactical vehicles. His dedication to duty was exemplified by his management of the unit's motorcycle safety and ground safety programs. He conducted 4 safety rides, mentored 15 junior riders of varying experience levels, and revamped the unit's safety program. Additionally, he received the ACC Ground Safety Award of Distinction and was nominated for the Geico Military Service Award. Finally, his leadership was vital to the unit being awarded the group's Squadron of the Year award 3 years in a row. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Sergeant Sischo, cumulative, a distinguished career in the service of his country, and reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Moore. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce the presiding officer for today's ceremony, Colonel Nick Vite.
Sit down, please. Well, thank you for not clapping. I appreciate that. I see some friendly faces in here I haven't seen for a long time, right? And I'll shake the rest of them later on, too. But before I start, well, I say a couple of thank yous. Everybody in the second row. The second to last row and the last row. Or let me see, where are all my young guys at? Anybody with 2 stripes on, come up to the front. And fill in these seats. All right?
Got 'em.
Good man. See, I can't even see if you got
Passing
2
it.
stripes on it now.
Okay.
Don't look disappointed. This is not a punishment. You'll be thankful you're sitting up here in a little bit. You'll know why, all right? Because you will have plenty of room. First of all, I want to say thanks to the Honor Guard. Thanks to you guys. And where's our sound man? He's in the back. Our photographers, our sound man, cameraman, and everybody else who's out here setting this whole thing up because it's important. It's extremely important because we're here to honor him. And I'm going to make him like a center post. You get to stand right there. I'm going to talk about him for the next 5, 6, 7 minutes. Okay? And I'm going to explain to you why I'm excited to be here. The only thing I got this weekend was to fly here from Washington to do this ceremony. And I want you to understand why, especially you guys up here. Cool? We'll see if you figure it out. Before I get started, though, friends, family, Benny, George, Matt, especially Dee Dee, and your sons. You guys got something to be extremely proud of. Okay? It's not the words in order that are written in his records, but what he stands for and what he's done is absolutely amazing. If you think about it, if you really truly think about it. Now, I can go in, once upon a time in 1990, he joined the Air Force. That was a long freaking time ago. But you know what was important about that? He made his most important decision within a year of that, because in September he married Dee Dee. Okay, and that was the toughest decision he had to make for the rest of his life, and he knew it. That's why this son of a gun volunteered for every damn deployment he wanted. All right? Now, I'm on my 15th move this time. He's moved 3 times. Dover, go figure. Tough assignment, right? Terrible location. Forward. McDill, ooh, there's another bad place. Then Colorado. Basically, if you want to know how he did it, he homesteaded, okay? And he screwed every other airman out of the opportunity to come to Colorado or to go to McDill. But he was smart. Like I said, the toughest decision was marrying Dee Dee. All he had to do then was focus. He had to focus on his job, okay? And those times between those 3 bases, have no doubt that he's done his bit. 3 times OEF. 3 times OEF. That means Iraq and Afghanistan. And then I don't know how you ended up in Jordan. I don't know how you got to Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and then Puerto Rico. Give me a break, all right?